guys, and welcome back to the Ducks and Dogs podcast. My name is Mike, here with my co-host Matt, when we never talk about the Dogs, but post-bowl season, did you catch the game?
I did catch the game. Remember the Alamo, man. Always remember the Alamo.
You know,
but maybe not for Oregon this time around. Huh?
It did not turn out as bad as I thought it was gonna.
With the trajectory of the first half, and considering what we've seen when that happened against Utah twice, it turned out okay for them. Granted, that
under pressure,
the defense looked pretty bad the entire time.
Offensive linemen and tight ends playing defense. So
yeah, no, for sure. But I was not impressed with the defense. But I mean, is DeRuyter gone? Is that a thing? He's gone, isn't he?
Texas Tech. New defensive coordinator.
So he's gone. Lanning's coming in as a defensive guy.
Our offensive staff, whole different story. Don't really like any of the offensive staff hires. The defensive staff is fucking loaded.
Mm-hmm. Because they just brought in who from the NFL?
That guy whose Twitter I will not say. And then they got Tosh Lapoy, and then they got Dan Lanning, and then they got the dude from fucking Baylor. Like, bro. Our defense and Justin Flo comes back. I
was gonna say, with the guys you're bringing back, that's gonna be a pretty loaded defense, and schematically, I'd imagine they'll do well.
Justin Flo and Noah Sewell running around that front seven.
Mm-hmm. God. Scary, man. I think it's gonna be kind of funny because usually people talk about Oregon's offense and UW's defense, right? In the last decade, that's probably like the conversation. Not like comparing, but just like in general, it's what they're known for.
About you guys for a decade.
Well, I'm just saying, like, if you're supposed to name something that both teams have been known for, like in 2016, UW's defense was headlining it. You know, like
2016, your offense was the story. It was Browning going nuts.
Oh no, yeah, because John Ross, Browning. In the past few years, no, it's definitely been more the defense. 18, yeah. Because 2017, that offense was still pretty good.
Because 2016 was all offense.
Yeah. It's still going to be interesting to have those narratives kind of flipped with DeBoer coming in. The offense is obviously supposed to be the focus, and with this new staff for Oregon, I'd imagine defense is the focus.
It seems like recruiting is the focus, because we are hiring nothing but recruiting violators. And I absolutely love it. It's an all NCAA sanctions team.
The defensive staff is a lot stronger than the offensive staff, 100%.
Sure. Tosh Lapoy is such a great fucking ad, especially since we have. I know he's DC and people are concerned about that. You really think he's going to be fucking calling plays when Dan Lanning is the head coach? No. So that was to keep him from going to Miami or Florida. You get in the DC role.
Mm-hmm.
God, we're going to be landing some fuck. I don't know if recruiting is going to drop off at all now.
Yeah, no.
I was concerned, but with the amount of elite recruiters I don't think it's going to drop off like at all.
No. I'd be surprised if it did, honestly.
Top 10 classes every year still. And I'm fucking ready for it. And after this bowl game, was it Mario Cristobal's fault that we had no offense?
Dude, I kind of looked like it.
Because what the fuck?
Kind of looked like it. Yeah. And Anthony Brown, look, man, maybe that's a whole different can of worms to open. LeBron James, the college football's LeBron James. Yeah, so for those who missed it, he was talking in the Oregon Spaces and compared himself to LeBron James, which, as an athlete on a pedestal, makes sense, but outside of that, the comparison holds no.
Compared himself getting hate to LeBron James, to why LeBron James gets hate. LeBron James gets hate because he's great. You got hate because you're not.
Yeah. And
great dude. I've said this many times. Let me preface that. Great kid. Yeah. Hope you do well in your post-football career. But thank Lord, it is over.
Well, with Bo Nix coming in, I don't think it's over.
But Nix at least is a 5-star talent. If Anthony Brown was able to throw 3 touchdowns with these wide receivers, Bo Nix is throwing 30 touchdowns in a game.
I don't trust it. I will not trust Bo Nix until I see him in an Oregon uniform playing.
But I also, maybe he doesn't play. Maybe he doesn't. Listen, let me be hopeful, because I know damn well he's not transferring here to sit the bench. But let me
I was going to say.
Let me pretend that Robbie Ashford might see the field, or Ty Thompson, or Jay
Ashford
Butterfield.
or Ty Thompson or Butterfield over, and that's the thing too. I know you don't want Bo Nix to play that situation, but you're right, and you don't transfer to sit the bench, being how
especially
old
that big
Bo
name
Nix
he
is. Yeah, exactly.
But other Duck fans just don't understand that. But yeah.
Yeah.
But for the where the fuck did that come from? Where the fuck did those deep passes into the end zone with the wide receivers running button it? Troy, our wide receivers look so good.
They looked really good.
They
looked really good,
dudes. Imagine if Devin Williams played.
Oh my! Granted, like, you know, Oklahoma's defense didn't do themselves any favors. I'm not trying to take away from Oregon's receivers, but
it's not like it was their backup DBs because their starting DBs aren't great.
Yeah, no, for sure. Big 12 football right there, I guess, huh?
Exactly.
They're not in the SEC yet. So I can still make that
those
joke.
Those are probably some of the more talented DBs Oregon will play throughout an entire season.
Probably. I mean, schematically, that defense was all over the place, too, so they have talent, but obviously they were not in the right spots at all.
No, they were not.
On some of those deep balls.
It was... I can't imagine how bad Devin Williams would have done them.
Oh, yeah, dude.
I wish he was coming back. There's still a chance. I hope like hell he comes back.
Yeah.
I doubt it, but I could pray because he's nasty. He's gonna make a team and then end up starting by the end of his first season somehow.
Probably. I wouldn't doubt it, honestly.
He can play fucking football.
He can. Kid can ball.
Where did
Anthony Brown, dude?
Where the fuck?
To be fair, I mean, when you have receivers that wide open, I can't say that because he did miss some pretty wide open guys even in the game yesterday. So
even against Utah.
Yeah. Utah
was running butt naked to the end zone.
Famously has the Twitter screenshots and circles around everything for like 5 different plays. But Utah's game plan was to give him that because they knew he wasn't going to take it.
Apparently, if he took it, he might have hit a couple because he hit a couple.
Yeah, seriously. And some of those deep balls were placed pretty well. Granted, you know, when you throw for 30 times a game, you're going to have good and bad passes. But it still takes a little bit of arm talent to get the ball down the field that way.
I'm just glad we made attempts to throw the ball down the field. What the fuck is this? Mario was handcuffing Joe Moorhead?
It must have been. Because something changed. Something completely changed.
And that's the only major staff change for that game is Mario.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Moorhead was still there. All the wide receivers coach was still there. Mastro's still there. Mirabal was still there.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you know, I'm ready to watch Miami run a 3rd and 10 dive play.
Yeah. Everybody's so worried about Miami, and I don't buy it. I really don't buy it.
They're going to steal a lot of talent, though.
They're going to steal talent, but I still don't buy that they're going to be on top of the ACC right away.
Fair,
I don't buy it.
It doesn't take much to be on top of the ACC right away.
No, but I still think they're going to have trouble with the Clemsons. I still think NC State's
on the right path.
Florida State's on the right path. NC State is going to be up there for the next couple years.
North Carolina is up there.
North Carolina's going to be they might fall off a bit. They have Mac Brown. I still think they're going to fall off a little bit next season because a lot of their talent left last year, and obviously they have Howell leaving this year. So, nah.
I wasn't sold on Howell as everybody else, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, who cares about the ACC, though? They're a bunch of truck stops.
No truck stops here, baby.
No truck stops here.
So, yeah, that Spaces was fun. How long were you in there, Matt?
I was in there long enough to hear the LeBron comparison, and then I left because I could not take it anymore. But I was in at the right time because I saw you were in there, and you said AB talking in the Spaces. I was like, oh, this will be interesting. And the first thing I hear is him talking about, LeBron's got a lot of haters too, and this and that. And I'm like, oh, it's good. It's good.
Just to comment on these Spaces, because I know other teams have done Spaces, and other teams might have done them before Oregon. But Oregon is fairly well dominated, like the whole news articles for college football Spaces, getting the big names in there, like the Josh Payton guys in there. You know, Oregon's fairly well dominated these Spaces on Twitter for the past, I'd say, about a month. And these dudes, the minute players get in these Spaces, 180. Any criticisms they were making, they're not making them anymore. The minute someone comes in there and makes a criticism, which is what these spaces were for, just to talk ball. The minute someone tries to criticize anything, it's like, oh yeah, if you haven't played football in the last 3 years, you can't talk. Who are you?
Yeah.
Who are you? Like,
and like, the players hear everything people are saying. Like, they know people are making the 180. They're not stupid. Like, they know. They're on Twitter enough to know. So why make the 180? Yeah. Like,
there's former players who, although they disagree with what me and guys like Keyshawn were saying, like Charles Sudduth, a former walk-on at Oregon, he was like, "Yo, at least Keyshawn and Mike keep it 100. Like, you're not gonna flip it over. It's this. Come on, man. Just because people walk up in the room don't mean you gotta switch what you're fucking saying. Like, what are they gonna do? Yell at you through Twitter Spaces? Oh no, or are you fucking scared?
Yeah. I mean, as long as you're not doxing their family, like, I don't think they care that much either.
Yeah, and as long as you're not, the people telling them, the dude who tweeted, the Oregon State fan who tweeted from McKinley's gonna end up in prison or stupid shit like that.
Oh, God.
Like, as long as you're not saying stupid shit like that, they do not care.
Talking about stupid shit, bro. Utah Twitter's been on a bender this week.
Utah Twitter is they're in fucking Utah.
I know. They've been especially on a bender this week because of the Scaly news of him saying the N-word in some capacity. I don't know the full situation. That's
not new, is it?
It's not new, but people have been talking about it all week.
Because he made a tweet about racism today, and everyone was just like...
Yeah, and he tweeted out an MLK quote either today or yesterday, which was kind of like...
Yeah, that's what it was, and everyone's like, hey, you remember this? What do y'all expect? He's coaching Utah.
Can't trust anybody from Utah. Yeah,
they're in Utah. Like, let's be real. If they're in Utah, they're probably a little racist.
Yeah.
Must be the fucking Mormons do not like people.
I was gonna say, just because it's not BYU doesn't mean that they're exempt from.
Just because they wear red jerseys, it doesn't change. They're still Mormons.
Yeah.
They still have 38-year-old football players.
Shout out to my non-racist Utah fans, though.
Shout out the non-racist Mormons too.
Shout out to non-racists everywhere, dude.
Shout out to the Bears. Shut up.
This is a no racism zone. Shout out to the non-racists out there.
Bro, people be bugging on Twitter for no fucking reason. I'm like, yo, are you good?
Oh, dude, it kills me. It's so funny to just sit on the sideline and watch. It's so funny, dude.
My favorite are the tweets. People are like, how come you don't sound in the spaces like you sound on the podcast? Like, I'm gonna come on here talking like with a Florida lingo when none of our fucking viewers would understand half the shit I'm saying.
Seriously, all of our viewers are pretty much on the West Coast.
I'm gonna be like, yeah, you green as fuck for that. And they're gonna be like, what the fuck does that mean?
Green? What do you mean?
Matt doesn't be like, Matt, do you know what that means?
No, I have no clue what that means, and I'm not gonna pretend like I know what that means.
Like, exactly. Like,
I go to school in South Dakota. You want to know how extensive my lingo is? Oh yeah, bud, don't you know? That's it,
Jesus
dude.
Christ.
That's it.
Exactly, and they want me to come up on here talking like how I'm talking in the space. Like, bro, no, because in the spaces, it's you got guys like me, Keyshawn, Lacavelli, Cincy, dudes who from Florida.
Yeah,
it may people be bugging.
Yeah,
Twitter be wildin'. Twitter be straight fucking wildin'.
Yep. It's never not though.
In some sort of Washington news, we have Washington news for once.
We do.
Happens to not be good news, and it also kind of relates to Oregon.
Yeah.
If you follow me on Twitter, I actually had something that I got from somebody who I actually trust, so it's kind of sourced. You know, obviously people can be like, who the fuck are you? But Oregon is waiting on answers from Texas A&M wide receivers coach and North Carolina's wide receiver coach. But if both of them say no, Junior Adams, Washington's wide receivers coach, has already in preface accepted the Oregon job.
And this, I don't think this is a surprise to anybody. I mean, even yesterday locally, KJR, pretty big Seattle news sports radio station, some of the Dogman guys were on there, and they were saying that the smoke for Junior to Oregon is legit, and there's a pretty good chance he leaves to Oregon. And I mean, with your insider knowledge, this is pretty much confirmed at this point. It's just a matter of if they pursue it or not.
It's just, it comes down to if Oregon wants him. And with that said, I think you and I both believe that what's his name, the wide receiver, would end up transferring to Oregon.
Oh, Jeremy?
Yeah.
People have been saying no. Even the guys on Dogman yesterday said it's not going to happen. I don't believe it. I think Adams is a really good recruiter and built really good relationships with the guys coming in. And I am not going to be surprised at all if he takes Jeremy with him to Oregon. And there was even rumors from one of his friends that's committed to Oregon on an Instagram Live or something that he was talking about it. I haven't seen it, so I wouldn't know, but Mike saw it, and he was the one who told me about it.
He just signed with y'all?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The 2 Oregon commits, Anthony Lucas and Sir Mills. They all signed together, and he said something on the live. I don't think he realized he was on the live to them about, oh, they just offered me yesterday. I might transfer.
Mm-hmm.
And that was nuts.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, considering he already had a teammate flip from Washington to Oregon.
And he just signed. I said that. He just signed.
Yeah, and I think I can't even say that's really a surprise with Adams leaving because DeBoer hasn't had a lot of time. Oh yeah, no, he's I think he's our best commit this cycle actually. Cuz he's a 4-star. He's a high 4-star.
That's fucking nuts, man.
Yeah.
Let me just comment on the state of the rivalry in a sense, because obviously you guys are bringing in a new staff and obviously have a positive outlook on everything. But the fact that coaches are willing to let Oregon be Oregon's last option, but they'd still go if Oregon wants them. The fact that players are like, oh, Oregon offered me, I might transfer. Or I'm Ben Roberts and Sir Mills. I'm decommitting and probably going to commit to Oregon. Like, that says a lot about the state of the administration. Not the coaches. Obviously, Jimmy Lake is not there anymore for the other 2 guys.
Yeah.
But it's the administration as a whole. They're not willing to be competitive with these things and try and keep Oregon from taking whatever the fuck they want.
Literally. And I think, too, the thing is, with DeBoer coming in, a new staff coming in, the damage that Lake did locally and to a lot of the recruits, and, that's going to be around. You knew that was going to be a problem. Like, people aren't oblivious to the fact that was going to be a problem coming in. They weren't oblivious to the fact that Washington was going to have guys transferring and decommitting. Like, it's going to happen. And I don't think anybody denied that. But
the coaching staff leaving is the coaching staff leaving is meh, and obviously if you throw a bag at somebody, even if it's a rival, eventually they're gonna bite, right? I wouldn't be surprised. As much money is in Seattle when it comes to throwing athletic money around, even if Washington wanted to throw him back and keep him, if Oregon wanted him, he's gone.
Yeah, because Oregon's got way deeper pockets. Yeah.
And it's also that, your administration won't commit as much money to your football program. They won't do, for instance, what Miami is doing and pull from some of the academic money that gets brought in to assist the athletic department.
For sure. And it's funny because people throw up these numbers all the time, and Oregon's got such deep pockets, which they do. I'm not denying that. But you look at the top 25 athletic departments in the country, UW is top 20.
And
people don't realize
more total donations than we do.
Yeah, people don't realize that UW is sitting on a mound of cash, and they really could put so much money to football and even basketball. Hell, I'll throw in basketball because they're terrible too. You could throw in so much money to those programs to make them relevant. You could throw in so much more money into marketing to get more people involved that are good at what they do, or to even just get more ideas on the board for marketing. And I saw this graph the other day that was the top 10, for some marketing thing, social media followings. Oregon was number 1. You had teams like Nebraska up there, Michigan, Ohio State. I think USC was up there just for following. And it's hello, UW administration, take a look at this. Your rival is number 1 in the country, and we don't even want to be on this list or even relevant in the scape. There's a problem with that.
If you include our mascot's social media following, it would,
which they didn't.
Blow everything out of the fucking. That's a whole nother thing. Does anybody outside of Washington fans know who the fuck Harry the Husky is? The most publicity he got was when the Duck changed his fucking profile to look like that.
Yeah, that was the most relevant he's been all season because the marketing team hasn't done much with his account. And I'll admit, the coaching staff at the moment that's brought in, Kalen DeBoer and his staff, has done a better job than Jimmy Lake's staff did with, getting out there, talking about stuff locally, talking about high schools, talking about, just congratulating kids on stuff and all this other stuff, how excited they are. That's good. That's really good. Yeah, but at a fundamental level, your marketing department has to be behind you as well to support that. which is what they are not doing. It's not what the administration's doing. And that's what's so frustrating about this is it's going to be an endless cycle of, hey, you know what? We're going to be good for a year or two. We're going to drop off. We're going to have to start the cycle all over again. Yep. And it's going to keep happening until the administration changes.
And you notice with all the Twitter spaces that have been going on, Washington have been doing them too. Oregon's admin, coaches, president, AD have been in these spaces. They've been on social media. They've been interacting. Have you seen Jen Cohen? Have you seen any of these guys up in the Washington spaces?
No, there's no chance they're going to be in there.
Rob Mueller's, I think a couple of the... It's on the Late Kick podcast. It's in an ESPN article. It's in an On3 article. It's in a 247 article. It's everywhere. Everywhere, because our president and our AD and Dan Lanning's brother and Dan Lanning was in the spaces today.
Because they care.
And so was Coach Dillingham. Dillingham answered questions in the spaces to fans, regular fans.
Yeah, and it's you know what? If the coaches don't want to be in the spaces, that's fine. But if your rivals and other people who are doing them have their administration in there, have other coaches in there, if they have players in there, UW at the most has had a couple recruits, commits, and players be in there. And that's it. Nothing from administration, I don't think. Not a lot from coaches. But
it's
holy cow, can we?
I know that everybody would rather do press releases, but the age of the press release is over. Before you could get a press release out there, the news is going to get out somewhere. So why not
take advantage of the technology? Exactly.
And use social media to help your brand.
Drives me absolutely nuts. And it's clear that the administration just does not care because they'd rather save their whatever image they've got going on for the school and the academically prowess they have. It's clear that their focus is just on the school's image, not the athletic department's image, the school's image. And when you start to separate things and be like, all right, this is our academic identity, but this is our athletic identity, and they try to combine the two, which in today's day and age of college football does not work. I'm sorry.
There's a reason those articles were coming out saying that Oregon and USC should consider leaving the Pac-12. They're the only schools 100%. Who take football serious or take sports in general serious. UCLA has tried. They've hired coaches. They've spent the money. They do a little
UCLA
bit of
UCLA and UW were only thrown into the conversation because of the money they had. That was the only reason they were thrown into that conversation.
And they tied the rivalries together.
Yes, exactly.
And
it bothers me.
Washington got interchanged with Oregon State sometimes because people didn't know if they'd let Oregon go without Oregon State.
Seriously.
Yeah, because they didn't know if the government would let us leave Oregon State.
And they UW and I said that combining your academic vision with your athletic vision doesn't work. Okay,
unless
you can maybe argue.
Stanford.
Yeah, Notre Dame, Stanford, Ivy Leagues, but even then, have those programs seen a lot of success recently?
Notre Dame has.
Notre Dame has, but Notre Dame is also a top 5 blue blood traditional
for sure.
football program. They can afford to do that because their brand is so established at this point.
Also, as much as Washington has money and has academically prowess, Stanford doubles them in that if they really want to get involved. So
really,
it's a whole different level. If Stanford really just asked a couple donors, hey, you guys want to start donating? So they pay their coach $9.5 million to suck.
They're paying David Shaw $9.5 million. Can we just let that sink in for a second? They're paying.
If Stanford started
David Shaw,
serious, if Stanford, someone tweeted this, and I completely agree. If the Ivies in general, but I'm just going to apply this to Stanford. If Stanford started taking football really serious, USC and Oregon would be fucked. There's too much money in Stanford.
You saw how good they could be when they had CMC in there. And that whole team for a couple-year run. And for 2023? They have a top 10 class for 2023 already, don't they?
It's all throwing the money. And if they start seriously investing, I say Oregon and USC are fucked. Oregon and USC will be fine. What the fuck would Washington do?
Exactly. If you can't even beat Washington State, they're
fighting for the same player. It's Stanford, Cal, and Washington fighting for the same player, and UCLA for some medical major kids. But those 3 programs are fighting for the same player, the academic success with wanting to be good at athletics because they're a Power 5 school, obviously. If both Cal and Stanford start taking it seriously and dumping money into it, what the fuck would Washington do?
And everybody will probably take this as me dumping on the program itself. I don't really think the program itself is the problem. It's the fact that it's attached to the athletic department that does not care. Until Jen Cohen figures it out, makes enough changes to where she doesn't have to be involved, or until she's gone, this program is going to be dead in the mud. And I'm sorry, you could bring in as much
with Jen Cohen as your admin.
Literally. And they've made the sad part is that they've made the playoff under this athletic department. Whatever. It's proven it can be done, but they can't sustain the success. I think their ceiling is a playoff team, but they can't sustain it. They can't do more than a year or two of being competitive like that before they go through a cycle again.
It's also, quite coincidental that it was also Oregon's worst year in 30 years.
Yeah, but granted, UW that year was so really good. Yes. Yeah.
But it's just kind of funny how the one year you guys are really good, it's like, oh, Oregon won 4 games.
That's when Washington was actually developing players and doing, everything that they said they were doing.
Players.
Yeah, they were recruiting top 20. They were developing well.
You know what that development was? They were recruiting well.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that development was. People got drafted higher than what they were graded in high school. They all do. Because there's.
But I'm saying they backed it up. They backed it up with recruiting, and they were actually developing kids to be better than what they were. And granted, that still happens from time to time, but it's not consistent anymore. I'm sorry, that whole development U thing is gone.
How much better have your corners gotten since they got there? They started out really good their freshman years.
Mm-hmm.
Have they gotten better?
McDuffie and Gordon, I think they've improved, but it's hard to tell with the scheme that they're in and how bad that run defense got gashed.
This is how they've improved. They got moved from CB2 to CB1 when Molden left.
Yeah.
They would be doing the same thing they're doing now if they started their freshman year. They have not improved. They're just good.
I could, as much as I hate to say it, I could honestly agree with that. And McDuffie and Gordon have improved, and they're good, but that's natural progression. That's not the staff being
and getting stronger
so
and faster
good.
And better at. Mm-hmm. They're entering their athletic prime.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not,
and credit to them because those guys are putting in the time, obviously, and they're doing well, and their draft stocks are still really high. At least
them. I'm saying it's not the coaches. It's all.
Yeah, them. No, I'd agree because since Lake kind of took over that DC spot, I mean the DBs and then hate to say it,
and they were graded great this year because nobody had to throw it.
Exactly. And I mean, granted, in a small sample size, they still did pretty well.
When they were thrown at, they played well. But
yeah, for sure.
Nobody had to fucking throw it against you.
Exactly. I think you're going to see the Senior Bowl like it was for, God, who was it last year? Keith Taylor. Like the Senior Bowl was important for him last year. I think for McDuffie and Gordon, it's going to be really important for their draft stock, honestly, because they're going to have to, be thrown at more than twice a game.
Who all are y'all losing going in the next year?
McDuffie's gone. Gordon.
I would bet money ZTF is gone, but
Kirkland's gone. I mean, at this point, all signs are pointing to ZTF being gone. I mean, not counting transfer portal guys, because we've lost Bynum to the portal, we've lost Sermon to the portal, McDonald, all those guys, but they weren't seniors, so.
I'm not saying seniors. I'm saying who's leaving that was good. Most of the team.
Well, McDuffie, Gordon,
as good as advertised.
Kirkland's still going to be drafted pretty high.
Like third round.
I think he'll go second. Honestly, he was projected a top 15 before the season started. I think he'll be second.
Thrown around a little bit.
He did. Not just a little bit. It wasn't just a little bit. It was more than a little bit.
I went back and watched the Oregon-Washington game and saw a couple snaps of him one-on-one with KT, and they were funny. He did win 2 of the ones I watched.
He won a couple,
I counted 2 one-on-ones that he won. They only went one-on-one like 9 times.
Yeah.
So
that's a testament to his ceiling. I'll say that's a testament to his ceiling.
Yeah, if you can winning a one-on-one with KT is not fucking easy.
It's not easy, bro. It attests to his ceiling. I think Senior Bowl for him is going to be big too, honestly, especially with how mediocre that O-line unit was this year. Mediocre is putting it nicely, I would say, for the standards they had. Because Bynum's pretty solid. He's gone. Obviously, McDuffie and Gordon are gone.
I think ZTF's gone.
I think ZTF's gone as well. Bookie, I'm pretty sure is. I don't know if we actually have heard from him. I'm pretty sure he's gone though. Draft.
I wasn't saying this before, but I'm just gonna say this now with not much thought. You might be just as bad next year.
Talent-wise, they're gonna have a lot of similar skill levels to work with, so it's a matter of if the staff is worth a shit or not.
Your DBs behind these two were just as good.
No, I'm saying that I'm speaking generally. I'm saying overall. I think the DBs we have behind them are pretty solid. I don't think they're McDuffie and Gordon.
I'm pretty sure the guy behind ZTF is gonna suck.
Yeah,
I've seen him play. The guy behind Kirkland is probably gonna suck.
He's not great, but again, it depends on if this staff is worth a shit or not, and what they can do with what they have.
This staff could be great. They can't fix it all in 1 year.
No. And that's why I told you in a DM
too because of quarterback play improving though.
I'm thinking 6 or 7 this year, and that's going to be hard for Washington fans to hear.
I was at 7 or 8, and I'm closer to probably 6.
Yeah, I'm thinking 6 or 7, and Washington fans are going to hate me saying that, but you have to give it a little time. As long as it's not a complete meltdown like it was with Lake, it's not going to be a 1-year project. And people have to swallow that pill. I think with the way Lake was treated, they're going to expect if it's not an 8-win season, he's gone. It's not going to happen. You have to be patient a season or 2. Yeah. And people don't like to hear that, but it's true.
You're not going 11-1. Sorry, Hood Husky.
Yeah, my predictions, I've learned this year that I can no longer be optimistic in my predictions because it will bite me in the ass.
I tried to be optimistic for you guys, and I had you at like 8-9 wins.
Yeah. I had us at 10. And that didn't go well. So, yeah. I'm going to...
Of development, you know what's crazy? Oregon could potentially have the first defensive player off the board for 3 years in a row.
Defensive? Who was it?
Kayvon Thibodeau.
Yeah?
Noah Sewell. Justin Flo.
Oh, I thought you meant like the couple years before. I was like, Penny Sewell was not... a defensive player.
I mean,
okay, yeah, no, I see what you mean.
They had one of the better defensive players in the draft last year too. Javon Holland.
True. Yeah.
He wasn't as good as Micah, obviously. Micah is fucking nuts. But Javon Holland has been playing great. He's a Pro Bowler.
Yeah, he's pretty damn good.
Pretty damn good. Oregon's defensive pipeline to the NFL is getting kind of nice.
Yeah. I don't know. I honestly don't know if KT goes number 1 anymore, though, just because of the hype that Hutchinson's gotten on a national playoff team.
Hutchinson, I don't know how he plays the end in the NFL. I don't think he can.
That's the thing. That transition will be interesting. Who's got the... Because I don't think Detroit has the first pick anymore.
KT plays linebacker in the NFL. Outside linebacker, Von Miller style.
I could see it,
rushing linebacker. Chandler Jones style actually is a perfect comp.
Yeah. The thing about Hutchinson is that he's a pure edge. Yeah. He is like a pure edge.
Kayvon played coverage this year.
So did Will Anderson.
Kayvon played 4-eye last year. Like, he's been preparing for the NFL. As good as Hutchinson might be, if you take him over Kayvon, you're going to regret it. In my opinion.
I think if Detroit has the first... I think if Hutchinson is on the... Well, if Detroit has the first pick in the draft, I think they take Hutchinson. I think outside of that, it's 50-50.
I would love to see KT versus Panay in the NFL.
Oh, that'd be so fun, dude.
Panay has been so good.
He has improved a lot.
He started bad week 1 and 2, I think.
Yeah.
But he's also playing right tackle for the first time ever, so...
Yeah, and that Lions team overall is looking a lot better. They're going to probably beat the crap out of the Seahawks next week. I want to
talk about it as a Cardinals fan. I really don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it.
Oh, that's too funny. No, but I'm serious. They're on the up. Dan Campbell's got that team on lock, man.
He bodied Chandler Jones a couple times, and I was just like, oh.
He's good. He is that good. He's that guy.
Oh, I thought, I was like, yeah, I love Panay, but Chandler Jones is Chandler Jones.
Panay can be good, but not when he's playing the Cardinals, please.
That's what I was hoping, but no. He fucking leveled Chandler a few times, and I said, oh, okay. Bro, I knew he was a dog the minute that Aaron Donald shit came out.
Mm-hmm.
Man's a fucking dog, bro. I was like, let's go.
Yeah.
And that's about all we got to talk about. Oregon lost their bowl game. Washington didn't make a bowl game. Both of our teams suck. That's where we're at.
That's where we're at. That's it. That's all you need to know. That's the story of this offseason. Both teams suck, and let's not suck next year.
Agreed. We start off with Georgia.
We start off with Kent State, which is easier than Georgia, I will say. Yeah, at least a little bit. I can confidently say it's easier than Georgia.
Well, hey guys, we want to thank you guys for watching this episode of the Ducks and Dogs podcast. My name is Mike, here with my co-host Matt, signing off.